of course, not much happened in the court itself, just the judge probably testifying or just hearing matters from his chambers via a video link. Tell us about what happened today and the main points.
And that's the point of it. The proceedings were virtual, and it seems as if former President Jacob Zuma's legal team and former president himself were totally against that. They are saying moving forward, the former president must be physically present in court because they say they are unable to consult with him. It's unfair on him. He will not get a fair trial if the proceedings are held virtually. So they wanted the court to postpone today's proceedings and then to regroup at a later date so that they can have the former president physically present here. Today was meant to be the hearing of the former president's application to have the lead prosecutor in this matter, Advocate Billy Downer, recusing himself, but we did not get to that business of the day. The first order of business was the application by the former president to say he is totally opposed to these proceedings being held virtually. He wants to be physically present in court. Listen to his lawyer, Advocate Thabani Masuku, explaining why.
We want that made very clear that today, in future, a virtual hearing will only be an exception, justified by circumstances that are pleaded at that particular point. It is not right for the state, particularly the NPA, to want to treat Mr. Zuma differently. They've been doing that for too long. They must apply the law as they are commanded to do so in terms of the act. This passionate, this zealous pursuit for Mr. Zuma at all costs by bending rules and cutting corners is not right. Let's just have a fair trial. Let's have him in court. Let's have everybody there. Let's argue the case there. Mr. Trenkov can't in good conscience say that it is the platform today to decide the plea.
And it seems that the state is not saying that this whole matter should be held virtually, but they're saying that this part of it can be. Talk to us about the legal arguments of the state. Seems to be like, well, we've kind of heard it all before, they're saying. Am I right?
Indeed, especially when it comes to former President Jacob Zuma's pending application to have the state lead prosecutor, Advocate Billy Downer, recusing himself. Today's proceedings were not about that, but they did venture into that in response to what former President Jacob Zuma's legal team was arguing. The state's argument is simple. They are saying, well, it's not as if the former president doesn't have access to any platform where he can participate and follow proceedings. Here, he has access where he is incarcerated at a Scott prison. He is able to join in and listen to the proceedings. And it's not as if provisions had not been made for him to be accommodated in this matter. They are saying everything is above board. The system allows him to participate. So therefore, the state is advocating to say, let's continue with these proceedings virtually. And in any case, there is no guarantee that the former president will come to court and testify, give new evidence on the matter. It's something we have heard before. Listen to Advocate Van Trengrove explaining.
The hearing of this debate on a virtual platform is a public hearing to which the public have access. And in the presence of the accused, he is present on the platform. A la De Beer, so that with respect, it is a competent mechanism, it is an appropriate mechanism, and it is one that the court is not merely entitled, but submit with respect, obliged to adopt in the exercise of its discretionary powers to ensure that fairness is done, not only to the accused, but also to the public interest in the prosecution of, particularly in the prosecution of any serious crime, but particularly in the prosecution of corruption, fraud, and money laundering. So we submit that the process is a lawful and competent one. Let me then turn to our submission that the request or demand for oral evidence is unfounded and unnecessary.
So we will, of course, hear tomorrow at 10 o'clock whether that 3-week postponement is granted, and I'm sure you'll be unpacking all of that for us tomorrow. Of course, we don't know if the judge will give reasons or not. He might just deliver his decision. But thank you very much for breaking down what happened today. That's senior reporter Siphandla Goge coming to us live from Pietermaritzburg.